Okay, as you already understand how we make surfaces from different types of interpolation, now we will talk about data resolution and spatial resolution because these two are similar but actually very, very different. So what are the differences between data and spatial resolution? So sorry if I cover it, but you can see it in our class PDF module. So data resolution. When we're talking about data resolution, we are talking about the resolution of the data that have been obtained from the field. So this is, for example, this is the data that I gave you yesterday. This is the data from the survey. This is how it looks like. And several examples when we're talking about data resolution is here. What is the spacing between the 2 points in one survey line, for example? And another one would be what is the spacing between two survey lines? Because as you can see here, this is our survey lines. For example, it's going that way. Sorry if it kept bending here and there because I'm using my mouse to do that. So when we're talking about data resolution, we are basically talking about what we have from the field. And we will use this data resolution to define the spatial resolution of the surface that we're going to make. Because imagine if your data resolution is 25 meters, for example, then you cannot make something that is less than 25 meters. You cannot make a spatial interpolation, for example, using maybe 10 meters as your spatial resolution because it will be too small and you will skip a lot of data. So you would want to have at least the same or maybe a little bit bigger, maybe like 30 meters or even better. You just use twice of it. So for example, 50 meters. So that's basically the spatial resolution. So spatial resolution defines the resolution of the surface created from the data through interpolation. So you actually define it before you do your interpolation. So for example, this is how your interpolated data will look like. So several example is basically what is the cell size of the grid? Actually, not several example, that's the example. So when you are faced with something that is the other way around, the case is basically you've got a surface already, you've got a DEM, then you would ask like, what is the cell size of the grid? That's basically your spatial resolution. It doesn't necessarily mean that that is your data resolution. Okay, so you need to understand the difference between it so you can see any case from here to later on. So if you want to make a surface, then you see the data resolution first and then you make the surface. But if you want to know your data resolution, then first you need to see your surface first, and then you see what the spatial resolution is, what is the cell size of the grid. So for example, the resolution of the grid is, I don't know, 200 meters, but it doesn't necessarily mean that that's the data resolution. It's something else. You need to see the metadata first. Okay,